Today I'm going to be exposing the one platform which for some reason nobody has been talking about for the past years, and personally I've been using for the entirety of this current winter which I got, which is more like 15 months. So what's this platform? It's Snapchat, and although Meta, or in more particular Facebook, has been getting the attention it deserves recently, Snapchat is actually the most underrated platform, which, to my knowledge and experience, has never been promoted by anyone for some reason. Although it's actually been providing me with consistent views and, most importantly, with probably the highest quality leads. So, Facebook obviously gets you a lot of consistent views, a lot of high quality leads, because especially you could restrict the countries which could watch your content. But Snapchat, regardless of where you live, and this is coming from data from myself personally use, but also from my creators and my connections. Every single person, I've been promoting this even before I started my YouTube. Snapchat has always been this gold mine, which for some reason it takes the least amount of time to warm up. So you actually just create the account, you start posting. So that's one. Number two, the engagement you get on your videos. So obviously I'm just reposting the same piece of content on every platform. However, I can see a very clear difference in the different engagement on every video on every platform. So Snapchat would get up to 20 to 50 comments, while as Facebook would get one or two. So I'm going to be breaking down every single thing in this video so that hopefully you're going to start posting on Snapchat. All right, so let's start off with the pros and then the cons. You need to understand the upsides but also the limitations that comes with it, because Snapchat is a bit of a tricky one. If it was like just rainbows and like easy mode, then everyone would obviously run it or speak about it, but it's not as easy mode as other platforms, so you need to understand what to do to make it work. So the first pros, okay, we're gonna break it down to, actually I'm gonna do it this way. So I'm gonna do this. So here are the pros and here are the cons. Okay, firstly, I'm gonna start off with the most important one, which is snapping. You could reply to comments with snaps, and this took me a very long time to try and to understand, because I'm gonna link it to the cons, okay? Let's start off here. So the problem is with Snap is that when you post, you get a lot of comments. Once again, as I mentioned, you get 20 plus comments, but for you to catch up, okay, even if you were to reply to 3 people out of the 20 people, for some reason you don't even see the message that you're sending. Now, some people, there's controversy around this, that when you comment back to people, you won't see it, but they actually receive it. But then that wouldn't explain, or that wouldn't just make sense, right? Like, I'm commenting back to people who are saying where to buy, but I just never get to see the message. Maybe 1 in 10 where I would actually see my reply. So that's the cons, and I'm pretty sure this is not just controversy. I think Snap is trying to limit, I mean, it's clear by now after using it for a year, it's really hard to put any sort of CTAs. So it's really strict with call to actions, or in other words, links. So, and comments. So for that reason, we're going to link it to the pros. To combat these cons, you actually get the feature of snapping, or in other words, replying to these comments with a video. That's what snap means. So when you open your notifications on Snapchat, you can see all these comments, and what you can do, you click on that sign which looks like this, and then you could either reply to it with a video, like literally just a reposted video, or a picture, whatever you want, and then you put a clear CTA. So another pros is that you can put a CTA in the story. So you can actually put links in the snap. All right. So that's how you fight back against the first problem. Now the second problem is that whenever, for some reason, whenever you start getting traction, so let's say you're posting every single day, you get consistent views, 20K views, whatever your baseline is, and then eventually you have this one super viral video. Trust me, the moment it gains traction, it just keeps on going. So the moment it reaches, for example, 80K, like on average is what I see, when it reaches 70, 80K, that's when it goes on the radar of Snapchat, where they actually start reviewing the content. And for some reason, even if it's like the most ethical and the most original content out there, because trust me, myself and my creators, we've all been creating original content, ethical content, no stitching, but still, for some reason, maybe 1 in 5 videos would get limited, or 1 in 3. When it goes viral, it would get limited. And that's a problem, okay? But I'm gonna tell you why. I think it's because they are stitching. So I think they're stitching from my content. So they would either put like parts of the video from mine into their edit, and I think that's what is causing it. So it's very strict. It's strict with reposting, or in other words, unoriginal content. But I'll get into it more, because it's not black and white. It's really more than that, trust me. I have had also creators who don't have the product. They would just edit my content or other creators' content. So you would argue, or like there's a debate going on that although I just said you cannot repost or create unoriginal content, how come the editors can, create A to Z video from mine, which I'm posting from, and then they wouldn't get shadow banned? Well, I truly think the baseline is you just can't post anyone's content, but the moment it goes viral, it will get on the radar. They're gonna try to find a way to limit it. This is my theory. Okay, I've noticed that when something goes viral, they actually try their best to limit it, which is a problem, because probably they're seeing that it's promoting a product or something. So personally, I have had one video which went viral on Black Friday, and that one video, although it had like 250K views, has, like, I can see in real time the surge of views, like sessions and sales. So it's no coincidence that Snap is actually converting a lot for me. And that 200K viewed video, or 250, it didn't get limited, by the way, but for some reason it stopped there. It got me more than 1K in that same day. And honestly, like 1K for 200K views is absurd. So maybe it was maybe 700 from Snap and then 300 from the others. You never know. But the point is, the quality of the leads that comes from Snap are really high. But yeah, it comes at a cost that you need to make sure everything is aligned. So good content, no stitching, no reposting, no split testing, and so on. But I'm gonna keep it flexible, okay? So it's not as, like, trust me, I stitch a lot. There was this one trend with the AI hooks. Not the grandma, don't worry. It's something else. It's like an ethical way of content. It was during Christmas time. If you know, you know. You may know. So that trend was actually doing really well, and I was just changing the first clip. I did it as a test. And what happened was, like, honestly, my baseline is around 20 to 30K views. And whenever I would just change the hook and repost, I was getting comfortable at one point, because I would just change the hook, I would repost it on Meta, IG and Facebook, gets a lot of views, gets a lot of sales. So I was like, let me try it on Snap. Although I knew it wouldn't perform as well, it really didn't. So this is what I mean by split testing. If you just want to change one clip and then post it again, it's not going to work. However, if you do enough changes to the video, for example, you put an effect on it, or you change the shadows, like the settings, the adjustments, you mirror a few clips, you add or remove clips, and so on. So basically create as many changes as possible, for it to look like a different piece of content. At that point, it's gonna go back to your baseline views. So literally, this is my baseline. It would go down to maybe 1.5k if I just change one clip. But then on the other side, if I were to create, I'm gonna say it this way, okay? If I were to do minimal changes or good enough changes just to make it look like a new clip, it's not gonna outperform the 20 to 30k. I'm gonna say it this way because it's true. The only times where I actually got viral was the times when I created an A to Z origin content. So if you wanna like just get free views here and there, then you could split test by doing enough changes. But the bottom line is you're better off creating original content, okay? So here, if I were to do enough changes, it may just sit around 15k views. So you can see a big difference between just changing one clip and changing a lot of clips. But yeah, again, the problem is, let's say this 15k actually goes up to 150k. It's gonna go on the radar. They're gonna see, this is actually the same as the other videos. It will either get limited as, I think the reason was, it says something about the quality of the content. Okay, I'm not sure what that reason was for, but they put it for a lot of limitations for myself and my creators. So I'm guessing it's because of repetitive content or just split testing. So bottom line is, although you wouldn't get 0 views for split testing, so I was being as transparent and flexible as possible. Although I said it's strict, this is what I mean by strict. So they're actually flexible with it, but you're not gonna go viral. Okay, let me put it that way. So you're better off creating good original content. So this is, in my opinion, the new TikTok, because that's how we look at TikTok, right? We would always want to stick to original content, although we would not get shadow banned, not all the times when we split test, but the chances are that we're gonna get low views. So Snap is the new TikTok of 2026. That's what I'm trying to say. And I truly think so, because TikTok has not gotten me, like, I don't know what it is, but this Q4, I don't think TikTok got me more than, so I got my 20k month, maybe not even 1k was from TikTok. I would say mostly was from IG, Facebook, and Snap, even YouTube. I went viral on YouTube every second day for the product. So yeah, it's just how it is. So hopefully you guys start posting today. Let me see what other pros and cons there are. So as I mentioned here, consistent with the views. It's very consistent, but it requires original content. And then the engagement, the amount of like comments is insane, honestly. Like, for some reason, it gives you a good hope of the product when you post and you actually see people commenting at it. And they're not just commenting like nonsense, not like burner accounts commenting. No, actual people who, have been using the app for a very long time. That seems to be coming from like first world countries and so on, are commenting, and that gives you good hope that it's actually going to convert. So that's how it is with Snap. So trust me, I post the same thing. Even IG, I would get like on average 40, 50k views. Still, I would get like 1 or 2 comments in comparison to Snap, which is getting like 20 comments. Doesn't make sense. Even YouTube is very similar to Snap. It gets a lot of comments. So it's a good sign. Whenever you see a lot of comments, it's a healthy sign of your content. But yeah, it's just surprising that other platforms are not performing the same. Let's see other cons. So there's a lot of limitations / bans, which is quite annoying. You can appeal them, but to my experience, I never even put the time to appeal. I'm gonna be honest, because I've tried a few times, it never paid off. So I was like, you know what? I just create the same thing over and over. So instead of split testing by just reusing the same content, I would split test by creating the same content. You know what I mean? And that way, I get over this limitation by going viral again, and then there's no reason for me to get banned. So it's really important to understand how the platform works and then navigate around its like just make sure that you never get obstacles on your way to going viral. Okay, so number 5, no warming, no warming up required. Number 6 of the pros, let me see. So far we said we can reply to comments with a CTA by putting a story. Number 2, we can put links in the snap or the story. Number 3 is very consistent, a lot of engagements, no warming up required. Number 6, high quality leads. Number 7, let me see. I think I'm gonna have to say it, stitching. Because at one point I wanted to see if any of my competitors are on the platform, and to my surprise, there's a lot of people who are actually, this is crazy, they're actually taking content from others who are posting on TikTok organic, and are, for example, someone is creating really good content on TikTok, is not going viral, and this person doesn't know about Snapchat, for example, or doesn't put the energy into Snap. So what they would do is take the content from there, post it on Snap, go viral, print. And a lot of people do this to Facebook as well, or on Facebook, and now it's happening on Snapchat. So understand that if your content is actually really good and you're not posting on Snapchat, it just means that maybe someone else is going to take it, post it here because it's an untapped platform. And as you can see, there's a big list of pros to why you should be posting here. So although I said there's no easy way for them to actually purchase, we've been seeing something very similar on TikTok. So recently with TikTok, nobody has been changing their account to a professional account or a business account. So when you get 1,000 followers, they would just keep it as it is, a personal account, because there's this controversy going on where you're better off keeping it personal so that you don't shadow ban yourself or restrict your virality, if you may say. So nowadays it's actually becoming the trend on TikTok to not add a link. So this just makes sense. Now we're going down to the bottom line here, that Snapchat is no worse than TikTok. It's actually better at this point because they're both relying on people to directly go to the website by typing the website and purchasing. So there's no reason not to post on Snapchat at this point. Yeah, I think that's for the most part. I mean, there's no like big setting up. Like number 8 is that there's no particular setup required. You don't need to create a niche growth page or whatever. You just post. But yeah, again, the trick is you need really high quality content. You need to be consistent. And honestly, like I'm telling you based off my analytics, every single person who's working with me has posted the same content on every platform, and the number one problem they face is with Meta. So usually IG and Facebook takes a very long time to get views, but then on the other side, Snapchat is usually the first thing that gets views, and then TikTok. So hopefully this has enlightened you guys to start posting on Snap, because this is once again very underrated. So hopefully you guys learned from this, and we have a free community in the bio. It's our Discord, and if you'd like to join the team to work on my brand with me, with free mentorship included, you just get a cut as well, then let me know on Discord or IG, Gabby Builds. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. See you next one. Peace out.